What's going on, you guys? This is New York Adventure in 1994 here, and I decided to do a little real life video because I haven't done one in like a week, and I think I overdid Roblox videos, and what else did I do? And all that other stuff like virtual 360 tours. Yeah, I've been doing virtual 360 tours for you guys lately for stuff I can't attend to this year, or can't really find the time to attend it. I am going to the New York Aquarium tomorrow in Brooklyn. I'm gonna go to the aquarium and go to Coney Island, which was the whole reason why I played the Coney Island face in season 4 of my character elimination series. And I always decided to put him in the neutral zone because the Coney Island face looks a little creepy, but good in my opinion. So I consider the Coney Island face as okay. So I decided to talk about what's been happening in the NHL playoffs lately. Once the first round was over, I was right all along that this round 2 of the 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs, was going to be an intense one. And I've been right ever since. The next round started ever since the weekend before I left for Cortland. While I was quarantined for 5 days because I was really sick and I had to wait for my coronavirus results. And thankfully they came back negative, so this is freedom right here. Getting bugs on me. As I was saying, I knew this round was going to be intense because the Islanders and Flyers round was a rivalry series. And Boston and Tampa Bay are like one of the top 2 NHL teams. And Colorado and Dallas, they're in a tough division called the Central. And all 7 teams on there made it. Even the last place Blackhawks. In Vegas and Vancouver has surprised so many of us this year. Vegas is having a little trouble beating them right now, and this is why they forced the Game 7. So, a Game 7 has been forced in 3 of the series for this round. I think this rest. Let's talk about the Islanders for a little bit. Getting itchy. My mustache is itchy. Let's talk about the Islanders for a little bit. So, This is their second consecutive year in the playoffs, just like 2015-16 season where they made the playoffs 2 years in a row, with the first being 2015 and the next being 2016. But this time it's 2019 and then it was 2020. So this is how this season was considered to be just like 2016. But sadly my team didn't last long. There's a private jet flying over my house. So I do best. Film airplanes. Sorry about that. As I was saying, this year has been a little bit like the 2016 playoffs because sadly my team didn't last long. They got swept by Carolina, and this is their first playoff sweep since 2006 from the New Jersey Devils, because they were just recovering from missing the playoffs for almost a whole decade. But the Devils were just a good team back then, but now they just stink. And I still don't expect them to make it next year. But the Islanders lately, when they make the playoffs nowadays, they wind up being really strong and solid. But sadly, they only last till the second round, and I hope that doesn't happen again. They're in trouble right now because the Flyers are like getting pissed off at them and like shutting them out for the last two games, and now they forced to Game 7, so they have to win that in order to qualify to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 1993. Oh, yeah, and the Flyers have been more aggressive than the Pittsburgh Penguins. They turned out to be the better Pennsylvania team this year in the playoffs than Pittsburgh. But I really don't know what happened to Pittsburgh, and it's not my concern because I hate that team and they're my worst team. And I think they got what they deserved from Montreal, but it moved the stupid Flyers up ahead. So obviously, it's only the Islanders and Vancouver that are the only two teams left that made the qualifying round. And everyone else is like one of the top four in each of the conferences. The Islanders were just a better team in the qualifying round. They took out Florida. They took out Washington. And now they're playing aggressive against the Flyers. And the Flyers are taking them aggressively, too. Yeah, I knew it was going to be intense because the Islanders seem to stick with their game plan in the playoffs. Especially with Barzal and having Barry Trotz coach them. It's not really like the old days anymore when they were in last place and it was really, really bad. The Islanders are like a decent team nowadays. They've obviously been more decent since 2015 when they made the playoffs. They only missed the playoffs for those 2 years in 2017 and 18. Yeah, there was something going on with them those years, but they were considered a playoff team those 2 years too, temporarily. Now, Tampa Bay and Boston. You know, when the series started, I thought Tampa Bay was just playing bad against Boston. Boston beat them in game 1, but it got more intense later on. Tampa Bay just shut them out in those 4 games afterwards. And it turns out that Tampa Bay was the better team. They even took a 7-1 victory against the Bruins. So they are now in the Eastern Conference Finals again after 2018. Every even year, the Tampa Bay Lightning becomes like a big story in the playoffs. And we gotta see who they play against next, either the Islanders or Philadelphia. It's gonna be intense either way, but we'll see what happens. And I think Colorado might move to the next round. I think Colorado should move to the next round. I mean, Dallas doesn't really make the conference finals, so I choose Dallas to advance. Despite Dallas being 3-1. I think Vegas is going to beat Vancouver because they're the better team. So we'll see what happens. Sorry I was talking more about the Islanders, but I'm also rooting for Tampa Bay too. So I guess that's it. I really think the Western Conference is gonna be Vegas and Colorado. And we'll see what happens in the East. Oh, there's another private jet flying over. They're really loud. Some people own these planes. So I guess that's it. Bye.